My name is Ryan and I'm in recovery. If you haven't seen my previous videos, I'm 38 years old and I am in recovery from cocaine addiction, something I've been battling for many years. Earlier on this year, I guess my kind of a big addiction secret came out, and I told my family, and I ended up going to rehab. I thought I'd lighten the tone a little bit and tell a funny story about Berghain, going to Berghain. I've been to Berghain a few times, had some fun there, as you'd imagine. But yeah, there was a particular time when I went, and I went with like a big group of friends, and we'd had some like pingers organised. Someone else had like sorted it with like a local dealer, but he didn't come through. He kind of basically went AWOL. And we then had to kind of scramble around and ended up kind of sorting it out through some random person, through like a friend of a friend or whatever. We got them, and true to form, me and one of my other friends out of the group decided we would take a half before getting in the taxi, which we did. And then as we were in the taxi on our way, I came up in the taxi, and I've never come up so hard in my life. I had to like grab the headrest in front of me to kind of, I guess, like level myself, because I was like rushing so hard. So I obviously realised how strong the pills were. I got out the taxi and I kind of told everyone that hadn't done one yet. I was like, do not take a whole one. They're really strong. Just take like a quarter or something. Most of the people I was with kind of ignored that advice and took whole ones anyway. And then it was just like, as soon as the pills kicked in for everyone, it was just like chaos. One of my friends looked like her face had like folded in on itself. I couldn't even look straight at her because it was stressing me out so much. And then there was another time, like me and my friends were like, if you've been to Berghain, you'll know there's obviously like the main room, and then there's panorama bar, and there's like a little alleyway, little kind of corridor that leads into panorama bar that's got like benches. And as I was walking down the corridor with my friend, I looked over and I could see this like pile of bodies and like limbs just gyrating and pulsating everywhere. And as we got closer to the bodies, we realised it was all of our friends, and all of them were just like rushing, gurning, just an absolute mess. And then it was just like chaos. And then what else happened? I was like rushing so hard that I had to go and sit in I kind of had to go and take myself into a quiet place to kind of try and gather myself. I felt really like nauseous, and I climbed into one of these booths with a curtain. But what I didn't realise is if you climb into one of them booths with a curtain, it basically means you're kind of like fair game for, I don't know, shagging, whatever. So as I'm kind of sitting there, like trying to stop, stop feeling sick, stop feeling queasy, these men kept trying to get in. It was like whack-a-mole, kind of beating away these men, trying to stop them getting into to thinking that I was ready to have sex with them. And then, another one of my friends, who's a really handsome gay guy, he was like, I really want to go down into the basement and see what goes on down there. And I don't know, if you know about the basement of Berghain, you'll know it's an interesting place. And I thought, yeah, why not? I'll come down with you and see what's going on. As soon as we got onto the staircase, it smelt of shit. So straight away I was like, oh god, maybe this isn't going to be as amusing as I thought it would be. But my friend was like, no, come on, let's just go down and see what's going on down there. So we went down, and then when we got down there, it was basically like just dark, really dark. And there was a table, almost looked like a kind of surgeon's table with a spotlight on it. And there was just a naked man bent over on the table, and people were just queuing up, or like basically taking turns to fisting him. So when I saw that, I was like, no, you know what? I don't want to be down here. This is not the vibe. So me and my friend went back upstairs. And as we were walking upstairs, my friend was like, I think someone from the basement has followed us up and is following us. And as I looked, he kind of like looked, motioned behind me, and I looked behind me, and there was a guy. I don't know if you remember when Jodie Harsh wore that like belt outfit when she had the belt covering her boobs. So it was basically a guy with like what looked like black Speedos on and belts across his chest. And as I looked around and looked at him, he kind of hid he like ducked behind a pillar, and then just like poked his head out to see if we were still looking. And yeah, he was basically following us. So we had to kind of like lose him. And then after that, I ended up managing to find my friends again, and my friend had told me that his mate that he was with, in his like high state, had taken off his shoes and thrown them into the dance floor for some god knows reason, and he had to like run off into the dance floor and go and somehow he managed to find them. which was pandemonium. And I then, in my high state, managed to lose my phone, and that same guy that found my friend's shoes found my phone. I don't know, he was kind of, I guess, probably the only one that was like remotely with it. Everyone else was just like up in space. Yeah, it was a bit of a madness. There's a little Berghain story for you.